Welcome to another episode of the Industrialist, and I got my homeboy here.
Got that right.
My dog.
Speaking of.
Yeah. Lathram Pou, the one and the only in the flesh.
I'm here. Thank you.
I'm really excited about this. This is going to get pretty funny, I think.
It already was.
So, yeah, you kind of walked into a whole mess we were dealing with, but it's funny how, on a real estate deal, it's funny how these, again, just a testament to national title, the resource that it is, that, we kind of just run through the whole thing in 2 seconds and, but the deals we buy always have hair on them. There's always, but that's where we make money, right? So if it was straightforward, it'd be a bond, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're not creative, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna throw the compliment your way.
Yeah.
I enjoyed walking into, not your mess, but your situation.
Well, yeah, it's funny too. It's like, well, I'm just gonna have to take the risk today on that deal if it doesn't roll my way, but I'm willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
So
watching you and Narduzzi, partner it up and go back and forth on it and figure it out.
Yeah. With
your counsel, it's good.
Yeah.
Getting it done. Like I said, it's a Texas shootout and you're going to walk into it.
It is. It definitely our broker on it is Todd Hubbard at Robert Lynn. We had this meeting yesterday on that deal, and I sent him this meme, and it's Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and it's like they're all looking at each other like that. And then it has this like little girl at the end of it go,
who's going first?
Yeah, right. So, well, national title is a huge part of our business. I mean, they're pretty much our partner. At the end of the day, it's we buy a lot of assets and do a lot of deals with you guys, and it's just an incredible resource. So, but let's hear about the man, Lathram. Let's start at the beginning. Story.
Really?
What's your story? I want to hear it.
My goodness. Well, I'm proud to share my story, I guess, and because it's all been real good.
Yeah.
It's overall, it's been a huge blessing, and I've been participating. Started, I guess, after college. I finished at St. Edward's and went to San Fran. Met Carmen out there. Was in the advertising world.
Yep.
Played a lot of golf. Did a lot of camping and fishing.
Yeah.
And so I came back, and the family's been doing it since I was born.
Yeah.
So I'm 46. The company is 46 years old.
Yeah.
And so Robert Pou, my dad, and Jay Settle, they started Settle Pou Law Firm. And Jay was in the title business. So they started a parallel company. And at that time, it was Dallas Title.
Yeah.
I think we still own that entity if anybody wants to talk to me about it. So it was Dallas Title, and then American Title. Then Land America bought them. And then that company got upside down. And we went over with the transition, and we're a lawyer's title. And then we decided, we need to stop playing in what's pretty much a franchisee situation.
Yeah.
And went independent agent in 2020.
Yeah.
So February of 2020.
Yeah.
So if there was going to be a year that we would implode, that could have been it.
Yeah.
But we just thrived.
Yeah.
And it just got better and better. We got more control, and all my people had already been with me for so long.
Yeah.
So we had this solid core. I just got this awakening at our holiday party the other night. But I was sitting there with one of our commercial escrow officers, Denise Bell. She's an absolute stud and legend in the business. She's been working the Walmart account for probably close to 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And that's just resulted in so many relationships around the country. And so to have that vote of confidence, can be contagious.
Yeah.
So that's been great. But I was sitting there with her, and she said, Lathram, it was 13 years ago that there were 13 of us here.
Yeah.
And I can't say I'm super goal driven. I'm just kind of go with it. And that's what's occurred. And so we're sitting at probably 80 to 85 people. It's 4 offices in the Metroplex, but a true national commercial group. We don't really focus on national residential. Yeah. We do a ton of residential.
Yeah.
It's a backbone. It's incredible business. but then we take commercial and take it nationally.
Yeah. Well, so that's awesome. I want to tell you, your dad told us this thing. This is pretty funny on you taking over what is now national title.
Yes, sir.
He goes, well, Lathram was coming back from San Francisco, and he said, hey, I want to take this over. And he goes, okay, well, put a business plan together and come sit down with Jay and I. And he said, so we have this meeting set, and Lathram shows up the meeting with nothing in his hands.
It's all up here, man. It's all up here.
He's like, I was expecting some kind of like presentation or something. And he goes, well, what are you going to do? He goes, I'm just going to build this business off of relationships and my friends, and I'm going to call people and make relationships with other people. And that's I would say, there's always things that are unique about a business, and I think that's really the unique of national title is your ability to network. And honestly, you give a lot of value without any expectation from anybody. You'll help anybody out on anything. You answer your phone immediately. You return, if you don't answer your phone, you return the call immediately. Like,
you don't even have to leave a voicemail.
No,
someone calls
I don't.
me, they're going to get a call back.
Yeah, I don't leave a voicemail for you. It's pointless. So, but that. I think that's a real testament on how your business has been built, is that you've been the guy to develop the relationships with people. And at the end of the day, I always say this, real estate has the word real in it, which has relationships, and that's how this business is built. And, that's why, I think we were naturally going to you at the point in time when I got into the business, but you didn't let that, be just a given. You always, you're always checking in on us and doing those things. So I think you've done an incredible job doing that. And it's a testament why y'all are growing the way you have, I think. So
coming from you, I'll take it. I'll take it. As the heavy hitter framed picture of Mr. Jeremy Mercer is behind you. Oh, I love it to death. You kidding me?
That was they used to have all these awards in the Dallas Business Journal. They'd have like top tenant rep broker, top office broker, and that was Rookie of the Year. So
nice.
That was pretty cool.
Like 82 or what year?
That was 2011.
Oh,
I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I started brokerage in October of 10. I know my hair dates me older than that.
So they don't do that in any form anymore. I totally remember.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
Like, who did the best capital markets deal?
Yeah.
And it was like a whole thing.
I wonder why they wouldn't keep rolling with that.
Well, it was so funny. I didn't know what it was, because they called me and they were like, hey, we need to set up an interview with you. And I was like, why? And
right, especially then you said rookie, right?
They're like, well, you're going to be in the heavy hitters this year or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then I was talking to Todd Hubbard at the time. I go, hey, when are you doing your interview for this stuff? And he'd got like an accolade for it, but they had like top brokers, and then they had like people that won like an award in it. Like, like I said, like top tenant rep office, top tenant, and then I didn't figure it out till they showed up, and they're like, okay, well, you're like going to win the Rookie of the Year award. And I was like, what? So anyways, that was pretty cool, So, a lot of that is talking about how Jeff got me into the business. And, I think, Jeff and I had always worked together on real estate stuff, and I was kind of always more like in a managerial role. But, when he brought me in, it was very easy for me to transition into. And then if Jeff had a deal to throw to me, like, he didn't have to worry about working on it. He knew I would get it done.
And he had lots of deals to work on.
Yeah, and he did. And he was kind of transitioning more into the business world. So, I don't know how much of a true rookie I was, but, I handled a lot of business. I won a lot of business that year too. But being on the management side helped me really understand leases and the functions of industrial.
In my position, as I'm kind of thinking about you talking about that, I don't have a lot of people that come in, especially in a sales role, with no experience.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big undertaking from the mentor and the mentee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just saying, I'm not really signing up for that all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously the brokerage business is different than title. We have less people in sales or whatever, but I brought a lot of rookies in on the operation side all day long, right? We also actually have multiple mother-daughter relationships in our office. There's, I think, at least 3. There's 3 where we've had a mom and a daughter, and currently there's 5 of them working. The mom went home. One of the mothers, Rachel, went home, and she's a professional cake maker, and she was always really good at it, and we still get her cakes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So her daughter Clarissa works for us, and Clarissa actually works for a team that's run by Erica Puente and a guy named Chris McElwee, and it's a team of 4. It's my only team of 4. And it's also one of my strongest hybrid teams between commercial and residential.
Okay.
They handle out-of-state commercial, in-state commercial, a lot of multifamilies, what they've done a lot of, and land. And then they do all the City of Dallas grant program stuff.
Yeah.
So our company has worked with like Builders of Hope and the different organizations coming through the city. I think we work with 4 different ones all over the city. And so I mentioned Walmart.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned City of Dallas grant programs, right? So that is the spectrum of our business.
Yeah.
And we're handling that business all in the same place.
Yeah.
A lot of times it gets separated. And so she's really been able to grow, but that team is also, all 4 of them are bilingual.
Oh, wow.
So they all speak Spanish. And we're so proud of that. And I'm not exactly sure how, but we've been looking at just scratching the surfaces and our interest of parlaying their knowledge and their bilingual skill with some of the nearshoring stuff. I want to help the groups that are going down there.
Yeah.
We've done title insurance, multiple projects in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could be a really good resource for someone coming out of Dallas, States, wherever, in some of those projects.
We're looking at that market, the Rio Grande Valley. There's a good buddy of mine, is a teammate of mine in college, and he's down there, Hispanic guy, sharp hustler, and he's like, hey man, like
he needs y'all's aggressiveness.
We need some help. He goes, they need warehouses down here, and I can dig it up, man. And I think we're going to, first of the year, we're going to fly down there and go spend a couple of days with them and kind of really get a lay of the land of what it is, what's going on down there. I've sold buildings down there before, but I've kind of, partnered up with a local broker on it and stuff like that. But
yeah, I can find you some land.
Yeah.
The land is, so you got a local who can help you lock down the land.
Yeah.
You can figure out what to do with it
for
sure. But that's just what I hear. My assumption is that there's just vast land down there and
there's a lot
prime areas. But the reoccurring theme I hear is how much of it's locked down.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well, like Laredo, you can't go into, you can try to go into Laredo, but I think there's like one family that has it on lock.
Got it.
So I think you probably just kind of skip over that and head on down to the valley and work down there in Farr and McAllen and all that stuff.
Where there is some space.
Yeah. Yeah. You might have a little more shot down there. So, but we're looking at that. And, we're also looking at going down into Houston next year too. It's just, it's a lot of footage and it's close. So
okay.
I think I've kind of put Houston off for a long time, but like I'm finally like, okay, I think we need, we're capitalized to keep, looking for more opportunities, and that's a great market to just go into. So,
but in their growth a little bit larger exponentially lately, I thought that the port was growing.
Have you ever been to the port?
No, never.
Man, I almost bought a building at the port last year, and I flew down there one morning to go look at it, and I was just driving around the port, and it was like
its own world, huh?
It is 24/7, 365, nonstop industrial trucking, logistics. I mean, it's a machine.
It's not going downhill.
No,
it's only on the incline.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So, we're going to start making our way down there the first of the year too. But
well, that's why I love where we're sitting right here, right now.
Yeah,
I'm a believer that we're in the epicenter of the world.
I totally agree.
With 35 and 45, where, I mean, there's only one place they intersect.
Yeah.
And it's right where you're buying buildings, Matador.
It's right here. It's right here. So it's we're very fortunate to
no doubt
that Dallas Fort Worth has turned into what it's turned into. It was always kind of like, I feel like Dallas Fort Worth in the past was always kind of like this other city, but they had the Cowboys, so that's kind of what put them on the map. But like now it's like, it is just, I feel like we're in LA. I mean, it's like you want to drive anywhere, it's packed to the gills.
Aren't they talking about putting a casino and resort in the backyard of where you grew up?
Yeah.
Did they buy your parents' house?
Yeah, the Crooked Eye might be getting a casino. I mean, you got to think no one buys 108 prime acres and a sports franchise.
It's on.
Yeah, this is going down, So to that point, it's going down in Texas because you got to change the Constitution for that to happen. So it's going statewide.
Yeah.
So, it's funny. We were looking at Nashville as a market, and I just looked at the square footage, and I was like, I don't know why I'd go there when I can just go south 3.5 hours, and be there in Houston. So I think there'll be some opportunity there. But I think you'll start seeing. I mean, you'll see. I bet they do something there. They'll do something at the horse track. I bet they do something up here in the Frisco Prosper area for a casino. I mean, it's.
And when you were talking about Nashville, you were talking about going to Nashville.
We were talking about looking at that as a market to get into, and
I have so many clients that focus on it.
Yeah, no, it's
crazy.
It's good. I just and maybe one day, but I don't think that's the next step. That was my point.
No, I hear you.
I was like, I'd have to go there, Atlanta, Charlotte, to get mass. So what we've kind of realized looking at, we track. Right now, we're tracking San Antonio, Austin, Dallas-Fort Worth, Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City, Austin, San Antonio, those are all 150 million square foot markets. Dallas is 1.2 billion feet. So it's like we get to buy stuff in San Antonio and Austin and Oklahoma City, but the velocity is just, it's a lot slower. So that's why I was like.
Spreading yourself too thin it's a different approach.
Yeah.
It's a different approach. It's a different time commitment.
Yeah.
Especially if you're as hands-on as you want to be in order to create that value and know what the risk is and what you can weed through.
Right.
So I don't know. My approach again, I wasn't trying to grow from 13 to whatever 80 plus in 13 years, but that happened. But I maybe there's a couple markets that I'd want to be in.
Yeah.
But on the commercial front, you don't really have to be where the product is. You got to be where the people are.
Right.
And so, but love Tarrant County and Fort Worth, right? Everybody wants to be in Fort Worth.
We just bought a really nice building in Fort Worth on Wednesday.
Oh, nice. Congratulations. Okay. Great. No, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. No. We bought a really nice tilt wall, 2 tilt wall buildings. We got an incredible Nardizzle did a good job of digging that one up. And
well, I told you about my buddy buying the pallet company.
Yeah.
So just more investment dollars keep going that way.
Yeah.
And I see that from everybody.
The thing I like, what I've noticed about Fort Worth is you can kind of get a lower price per pound on the property, but the lease rates are similar to Dallas. Well, so the yield is better, and I love Fort Worth.
That's simple math. I can count that.
Yeah. So it's funny, when me and my wife were living in Irving when we decided we needed to move, and we ended up in Prosper, but I always say if we would have looked a little longer, we might have ended up in Fort Worth. I really like Fort Worth a lot. It's an awesome town. But yeah, no, we're very bullish on Fort Worth. We work with a lot of brokers out there, and the NAI guys, we work with them a lot. And Mercer Company just opened just opened an office in the stockyards.
Yeah.
So
that is exciting. It's like I said, everybody's doing it.
Yeah. No,
that's great.
It's
that's a commitment too.
Yeah. No, you gotta be in it. So that was the thing. I think for the longest time, I think Mercer Company would send a guy out there. But Fort Worth is very, I guess the word might be territorial,
rightfully so. Wouldn't you be?
They don't want to see a Dallas address on your business card.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I think there was a lot of failure to launch with guys that we sent out there but now that we have I was working a deal with our Fort Worth guy out there, and like when we told the guy we were talking to that we had a Fort Worth office, he perked up a lot more. Like, okay, like,
yeah, your audience changed quickly.
Yeah, it was very evident. So I think that's really important. They also just opened one in Oklahoma City too. So
got it. Well, a client and great friend of mine who is just central Dallas multifamily, and he just bought his first deal.
Yeah,
and it's a small one for him. It's 16 units, but it's right on University.
Yeah,
the middle of TCU campus.
Yeah,
and the price per pound was better. And so it gives them a lot of creativity. You know, you might do some more Airbnbs with it or whatever, you know, some short term. So we went to what's his name? Nathaniel Ratliff.
Yeah.
You know, and the Night Sweats, but it was the show without the Night Sweats. And it was at Roger, what's the auditorium? Will Rogers Auditorium. Thank you. Which I'd never been to. Have you been to that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he was real cool without the huge band.
Yeah.
So whenever we stopped by the property, and I mean, just talk about a buzz.
Yeah.
Fort Worth, you know, TCU just was crazy. There are people everywhere.
No, I love going to the stockyards. My son loves to go to the rodeo down there, so we'll go rodeo on Friday night.
That's because he's a cowboy.
He is, man. He grew up in the wrong town. So
you really did him wrong. You didn't let him rise up in Fort Worth.
Well, I tell you, the day he turns 18, he will be on the back of some kind of bucking animal, I'm sure.
Really?
And, yeah, he wants to do that. I told him he can't ride bulls. I rode a bull once.
A lot.
That was it. I thought I wanted to do that. I did it. I did it at 14. I was 14. I rode a bull.
No way.
It was.
Whoa. I ran with the bulls, but I hadn't jumped on one.
Man, I got in that chute and I was putting the rigging on in my hand and all that stuff. And I just went, what in the hell?
Where is this?
This was, I don't even remember where it was.
Like behind some small gas station in Irving?
Yeah.
That little hometown rodeo?
Yeah, no, it was some small little rodeo somewhere here in town. I can't remember I can't even remember where it was. But like, I mean, I just remember sitting on that animal and putting my hand in that rigging, and I was just like,
did you work up to this?
No.
Was there like a sheep or something?
No. This was
straight bull.
Get right on it. And
hence the Matador name.
Yeah.
Still trying to round up those cows.
So yeah, man, I got in that chute and I was like, I don't know what I just got myself into, but I'm in it. Like, I can't like get out of this. And man, that chute opened. I don't even remember what happened. Like, it was just a blur. But I do remember getting thrown off, and I'm sitting there on all fours and my hands and knees, and I look up, and that bull's hoof, he's kicked up in the air, and it's that hoof.
Shut up.
I just like feel the graze of it, like the wind of it on my face.
All right,
and
so you didn't get smacked.
I didn't get smacked, and I was like,
praise Jesus.
That was a sign that this is not for me.
I was that close for death.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I'm glad you made it out of there.
Yeah, and so, anyways, that's what my son. I was like, you're not riding bulls.
Yeah.
Sorry. You can maybe ride broncs. I don't know.
Trey Fricky hits those cutting horses.
Yeah.
Hits them hard.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's a full-time gig.
Yeah. That's a whole nother, that's like the, what is it? What do you want to call it? That's like the real high end of rodeo.
He's the aristocrat of the cowboy.
Yeah. That's the, I mean, you're talking about sometimes a $500,000 horse maybe, or something like that.
It's real.
It's like, have you ever driven past the 4-6's ranch? Okay, it's real popular now because Taylor Sheridan bought it and all this stuff. But I've been driving by it for years.
Where is it exactly?
It's like out near Benjamin on the way to Lubbock.
Okay, so I got it.
But I always thought it's funny. You drive past the 4-6's ranch and they have an airstrip. I'm like, yeah, because some people that buy these kind of horses just fly their plane in to look at it.
There you go.
And but yeah, I think he's. I've got him focused on football right now, but I think once that is over, he will be starting a new career in the rodeo world.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking about that 4-6's ranch or whatever. I see so many, good country folk who are land rich and be able to parlay that and they believe in land.
Yeah.
And they believe in cattle.
Yep.
And I've got this really good. He's become a good friend, and he's a ranch broker, and he's living it.
Yeah.
He's in his probably late 30s now,
Yeah.
and he's been the mayor of his little town.
Yeah.
Every dollar he has in cows or in land. And it has been tremendous for his family.
Really?
Oh, and his clients, come and do deals with him over and over, more investment, not just recreational ranch owners, but, they like to do both. They'll hunt it for a little bit and then, parcel it out, whatever it may be. He's helping them make sure that they've got leases, people who he's just brokering for, just like you would do with the industrial deal. He's making sure they got a cattle lease, so they've got either income or plus the tax benefit. And he just, we laugh about it. He's like, Lathram, I can't have $1 in my bank account. Yeah. He just is allergic to the money because he just believes that much in cattle and land. And also, we'll watch the market. And I don't know what the stat is right now, but something like there's less cows per capita than there's ever been in history. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So beef prices are high right now. And it's either there's just less cows, period, than there's been in the last some time period, or it's per capita. Yeah. But there's, because there's also less people ranching. Yeah. It's so, you got to have that 4 6s. You got to probably have an airstrip just to have a, true cattle operation. So back to my son, he's a big hunter. And one day he goes, Dad, I want to be a hunting guide. And I was like, bro, you don't want to be a hunting guide. I was like, you have to hunt every day. And it just becomes, it's not fun anymore. I go, you want to do real estate, but what you want to do is you want to sell the ranches. There you go. I go, so you should get into selling ranches because you got to go hunt them first to make sure so you can market that there is, I go, just go get your degree in finance and then get a minor in ranch management and hook the Polaris up to the back of your truck and you're off, So I'd see him just living in West Texas on a house on 200 acres in the middle of nowhere and driving around selling ranches. One of the most successful ranch brokers I know, that's how he started out. He was managing some big ranches out in West Texas. Yeah. So he just was earning his stripes and putting the sweat equity in on these properties and gaining a reputation. And then he's just become an incredible ranch broker. They're marketing machine. Yeah. They got some real smooth marketing. And the guy I was mentioning earlier, because I used to think about ranch brokers maybe get like 3 deals in a year or something, right? That's just what was in my head growing up or whatever. Yeah. This one guy, he did I think he did with us in 1 month, 12 ranch transactions. And I think he had 2 at another title company. Jeez. He did 13 or 14, I know was the number, in 1 month. And those usually aren't small transactions. Not usually. Those are good sized deals. And they're all sales. Yeah. A lot's cash. Yeah. I'd say well over 50% of the ranches that we close are cash. Just straight cash. Yeah. And we've been able to participate in a lot of really cool ranch deals. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's when we I didn't grow up hunting or anything. And my dad never took Jeff and I hunting or any of that stuff. We didn't grow up with that. But Jeff kind of got into it in college a little bit. And then when I got to college, there was a good buddy of mine that was a teammate of mine. And he was like, one Sunday, he was like, hey man, do you hunt? And I was like, no. He goes, well, do you want to learn how? And I was like, sure. Of course you did. And he goes, okay, well, let's go out Sunday morning and find some hunting spots. I was like, okay, because we had Sunday off. This was the beginning of the football season. We had Sunday off, so we go out and we cold called farmers. That's Lubbock. That's what I've heard. And this guy, I've heard it's like that out there. And man, by the end of 2 days, this guy had nailed down. Like I just kind of watched him do it, but like this guy nailed down like all these spots. So we had hunting spots all over the place. That's because there's real farming going out there in West Texas. Yeah. And those farmers need to protect their crop. Yeah. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Yeah. I've heard that so much about buddies who are going out there. Yeah. And you pretty much knock on a farmer's door and you're hunting it the next morning. Absolutely. And then you're saving his crop. Yeah. And so
And man, I'll tell you, it's funny. After getting into hunting out there in West Texas, like, when people are like, "Hey, let's go dove hunting around here," and I'm like,
right, yeah, it's not the same.
Bird hunting out there is so much different. It's a lot of fun out there.
I actually went dove hunting for the first time in 10 years this past year.
Really?
And it was non-productive.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But, one of the reasons why is because one of the first dove hunts was with the Mercer and Company outing. And you remember my dog got overheated and didn't do well.
Yeah.
Because he was retrieving like 10 guys' birds.
Gas.
Yeah. So he didn't get much of a break.
Yeah.
And, kind of after that, it felt weird to go, harvest birds and not have your dog with you. So, and I just stayed in the AC while everybody else was out.
Yeah. No, it's funny, right now it's the Christmas season right now, and the song "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year." I always sing that when it's opening weekend of Dove. I'm like, it's football starting.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you're more excited about. I know.
This is we got dove hunting, football starting, so that's the most wonderful time of the year for me. So, but
how many years is this now for Matador?
We are rounding out, I guess this is the end of year 3.
Okay.
So
have y'all had y'all's year end and know what's going on in 2024? Because I see the pipeline looking, I'm excited about the opportunity in front.
Yeah. We had our quarterly meeting the other day. I feel like it's really, I feel what's really cool about where we're at now is I feel like we're in a place where, in the beginning it was me and Isabella, and Joey, so we're all scrambling, doing all the things. And now I feel like it's really a team where it's like, it's the assembly line, right? We're at the end of the day, I look at it like we're manufacturing a product, which is, taking it from here to here, on the closing side, then we take it from here to here on the stabilization side. And what that's allowed me to do is just to kind of develop bigger relationships for us on, either, be capital side or, banking side or any of those things. And so, but I feel, the one thing we do here is we track every single deal that's brought to us and we track the dollar amount. And so that's where I can look every week and say, well, we only saw 25 million in opportunities last week. And then they could, out of that number, that could be 95% of it's dog crap, but we track every single one because I just look at it like the higher we can get that number every week, then the better stuff we'll see. But now we've got that number, when we started, we were looking at like 20 million a week. Now we see probably on average about 60 to 65 million in opportunities a week.
Wow.
And what's great with that is like, we can just wait,
don't have to force a deal.
We don't have to force the deal. I'm like, oh, there'll be something next week that probably works. So just, I don't have to do this,
That's why I always make sure people know on like the 1031 exchange, you can sign up for it, but you can also get out.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get some capital tied up and that's frustrating, but people sometimes feel like if they sign up for it, they have to consummate it.
Well, and so you just can't identify.
Right. Totally. Yeah. You identify, then you get your money held up.
Yeah.
So at least you get the 45 days to figure it out, but don't force something.
Right.
Have the option.
Right.
Don't force it.
Right. No, it's funny. We just did a 1031 with you guys on y'all's new 1031 side.
Yeah.
Great experience there.
Thank you.
And when we did that, I'm with you. Like I identified 3 properties, but I had one like nailed down. And that was the only one I was really going to buy. The other 2, I probably wouldn't have bought with the 1031. And, but I just identified them for the hell of it. And,
but that brings up a good point that you're able to also identify 3.
Yeah.
So if you are going to identify, create some options, don't feel like you also have to pigeonhole yourself.
Right.
So I'm excited about the education process more and utilizing the exchange.
Yeah.
Or not using it, but at least knowing what the options are. Because I'm an options guy.
Well, I think there's really a void there that you could actually fill with what you're going to try to do there. If you can market it properly. There was I think First American, they had this exchange thing and they're like, and it sounded great. They're like, hey, put your stuff up here and like, pulling all the 1031 people together to look at options, and like I just nothing ever happened out of it. So I think
we just had our year-end meeting, and it's happening.
Oh, that's great. It's I think if you can pair that together, like you know what it might be too is like, okay, well, what are you looking for? I'm looking for industrial. Okay, well, just let all the, there's a lot of guys like me that'll sell a one-off building. Hey, is there anything in your portfolio y'all would sell?
I think maybe some of that hang up though, because what we're processing, and I've really gone the brokerage route the whole time. You can talk to some owners, and they're the decision makers, right? Like you're saying, you would possibly you got a one-off that you're flexible with what your plan is with it. But then also there's only so many owners that have so many of those type of products or would understand that concept.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of brokers
Yeah.
in industrial, right?
Yeah.
Every sector is different in their brokerage community.
Right.
And the industrial broker can have their hands in a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
So your broker knowledge, you might have a Matador asset, but you might know of 10 other assets of owners who are like, you know what?
Yeah.
I bet they want to participate.
Yeah.
So, I think there is a big opportunity for us. So maybe we'll talk MTG 1031 exchange.
Yeah.
Once that's up and rolling.
Yeah.
So, but we want it to be a consistent thing, and we want it to be a community, and some of it has to be in person. Yeah. Because there's going to be a trust factor involved too. Yeah. So our original thought, what's our online presence? And there's going to be that, right? Because the database of inventory has got to be available, but it's got to be, it may have to be one of those old school meetings where everyone has to show up and bring a lead.
Well,
right? So, is that not it?
Well, that is it. Let's just talk about the foundations of business, right?
Okay.
It starts with marketing. You got to generate leads. Then you got to be able to close that lead, and that's your sales process. Then you got to fulfill what you sold, and then you got the back office to collect it, But that's any business kind of falls into those four silos. So that was the thing when I was looking at the First American Exchange. I was like, there's just no, like y'all told me about this, and I never heard from you again about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it takes multiple touches to touch people, and that's the beauty. Like, that's kind of like the beauty, and like I think you can take a real advantage of, and y'all do a very good job of this. But like social media, like commercial real estate is very slow to change, and there's a lot of people that just don't use it. There's a guy that sits next door to me here. He's probably developed every building up and down the toll road here.
And no one knows his name.
No one knows who he is.
Right.
So
I've got plenty of those clients too. They want to operate on the DL.
They do.
So I understand. But then I don't think that all positions have to allow for such a big marketing piece.
No.
Right?
No.
Think how huge it was for you though. You knew how successful you could be as soon as you were able to look at so many deals.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you got that level of deals and you're, running with it. And it's watching things today and seeing what's going on, seeing people from around the world want to throw money at Matador. I don't think there's a higher compliment in what's going on there. So you can run with that for a second.
Yeah.
We'll have Isabella make a t-shirt or something.
No,
I hope everyone knows about how incredible Isabella Ling is. Makes this whole place happen. So
Isabella runs the place. So
yeah, no doubt. It's too easy.
It is. It's she is the heartbeat and the muse of it all,
right.
and everything you see that gets put out there by us is vetted by her first. And
thank God.
Yeah, it'd be a hot mess if the rest of us did it. But that's the kind of the part I was talking about earlier, is that we built this team where it's like, I don't have to worry about those things. Like I got to get her certain deliverables, but once I get her those things, it's off to the races. And same thing with Will. It's he's out there pounding the phones all day long, looking for deals, and then everybody else here's back here just cooking it all up. So,
I've got another good buddy and client. His name's Barrett Lindbergh.
Yeah.
Barrett, he was a commercial lender.
On Twitter.
There you go. And that doesn't surprise me.
He's real in the opportunity zone stuff, right? He's got that nailed down.
Opportunity zone wizard.
Yeah.
And sharing the recipe with everybody.
Yeah.
He's working the different tax abatements and options with the city and county.
Yeah.
And his willingness to share it with the world.
Yeah.
So people close to us put a lot of investment and faith in him as well. And have for a while. So it's been interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, you sent me his number, and I want to call him, reach out to him, because I want to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
He seems very. When I follow his stuff on Twitter, it's very, very interesting, and almost like over my head sometimes. I mean, he knows
it's well over mine.
He knows
he's going
that
to a different
stuff. Level.
But he's. I guess what I also admire is that there are some advantages out there that these cities, you just got to put in that extra effort to get it, right? I mean, I don't know how many incentives they are to have you open up a new pallet company or something somewhere, as you were saying the other day, right? Talk about scarce inventory.
Yeah.
But, because I also think about the City of Dallas grant programs that we were talking about on the residential side too. Yeah. So I want people to be able to take advantage of a system that's out there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not being well marketed. How about that?
Well,
that's something that should be marketed.
To a degree that I think the municipalities don't want it marketed.
I guess.
I mean, there's a section of Brook Hollow that has an empowerment zone over it. And
they don't have a billboard announcing that?
No. And they did it because that's where the Salvation Army's going.
Got it.
And it's funny. I was having lunch with Jack Crow. He owns Shoal Creek.
He's a new client of ours.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He do a good deal with y'all?
Yeah. We've done multiple deals with them.
That's awesome. Yeah. Him and Wilson are great. They're
salt of the earth.
Yeah. We share a lot of information with each other, and we're in each other's portals, and we invest with each other on each other's deals and stuff. And
that's just complete, epitome of the relationship piece.
Yeah.
And what I'm so proud about that new relationship for us, they closed a deal with one of our teams.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that experience so much that they reached out to us. And so we facilitated a meeting based on their request.
Yeah.
And I don't know how often that's happening with title companies where it's not having to chase it and go win it somehow, marketing, whatever it is. So that service-driven win for a high-quality group means the world to us.
Yeah, no, that's, again, that's a testament to how y'all operate.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But, it's funny. We were sitting there having lunch. And I was telling him, I said, he goes, he's building these buildings right there on John Carpenter Freeway. And I go, well, you know about the development. You know about the empowerment zone, don't you? And he goes, no. I found the presentation, and and he went and got it. I think he's the only one in that neighborhood that's got it. I had it denied. I met all the criteria on a deal, and they just denied it. And I said, well, why? And they go, because.
That's just how it goes down there?
Yeah, I guess. It wasn't my building, so I told the owner, I was like, look, they said no. This isn't, like, if you want to hire a consultant or something, you can fight this some more or something. But he got it done, and it was some kind of really good tax abatement, so that'll help. I mean, that'll help him lease those buildings, right? Because I
remember reading about it. Yeah. But so you got to put the work in, and you got to get lucky, right? If it's government-based.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I went down to the city 4 or 5 times trying to get it. It was on the Mary Kay site. We did right around the corner, and but they.
How is that piece of the business? I was just with a developer yesterday, and he's developed some big stuff that people know, and he's changing industries.
Really?
And and he's got a cool opportunity that he created another company, and there was some reference to the city and dealing with all that. I don't have to do that. Yeah, I deal with the county and recordings and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not down there asking them for things.
Yeah.
And that seems like a beating.
So I don't deal with it on an industrial.
Okay.
I won't deal with it. Actually, I take that back. I'm doing one deal right now where we have to do a zoning change, but it's worth it. And the seller's giving us the time to do it while we're under contract, and we just hire an attorney and let them run with it. We deal with it a lot on the land entitlement stuff that we do down in Central Texas.
Okay.
But thankfully, my partner on that is
meaning taking raw land
from
a certain
ag
use.
to another use to multifamily, residential, commercial. Yeah. But my partner, she does all that. She's a civil engineer, and
that's her gig.
That's all she does all day. So, but on an industrial building, I won't touch it. It's just brain damage. I mean, the problem is this: dealing with a municipality is it's not well, okay. People have a choice when they go to title companies, right? Your company doesn't do what I need it to do, or they give me really bad service. I have an option. Cities have no competition. Like, could you imagine being in a business where no one competed with you?
No, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Well, so
that is a good way of thinking about, holy smokes.
You're signing up for that. You're signing up to deal with somebody that you have no other option but them.
Oh my goodness.
So for me, I'm like, I don't want to. I had a deal we bought in Little Elm, and I'm selling it on an owner finance, and the buyer and me and the city get on the phone, because I told the buyer up front, I said, hey, the city's really difficult with this property. So we get on the phone. City says, well, you're just going to have to tear the building down. I go, well, what makes you say that? And he goes, well,
why is that the start?
The cost to get it up to our building code is going to be more than tearing it down and building a brand new building. I said, excuse me, how many buildings have you built? Well, none. I just think it'd be like that. Well,
that's the guidance that they're giving, though.
Well, he damaged me. He literally damaged me, because when we hung up the phone, the buyer calls me. Hey, man, I'm going to have to tear this building down.
Oh, no.
So we had to reduce the note, the cost of demo, just to complete the transaction. Now, what we did is we had a trigger that said, hey, if by this certain date the city doesn't make you demo that building, then the note readjusts back up for that demo cost amount.
So if you got in compliance, you go back to...
Yeah. So we worked it out that way. But the city damaged me with that conversation.
That's crazy.
And I called my attorney, and I was like, hey, I'm ready to go to the mat on this. And he goes, you can't.
He said, go back to sleep.
Yeah. They have immunity.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
They can't be held liable. So...
But they can damage. Holy smokes.
They can damage you. They can not be held liable for anything they do, and they're your only option. So that's development.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what you're signing up for.
You answered that.
So in my opinion, unless there's, and here's the thing too, I do industrial. Nobody wants industrial.
Right.
I don't care, even though it is the darling asset class now of commercial real estate.
But not with the government.
But I mean, like, they're going to tell you, we want a mixed use development here. I don't do that stuff. So if we, first thing we check on a building is zoning. Can we do what we want to do? Well, can we do what's doing here and do it till the cows come home and, all that stuff. So
in your world, the deals you're looking at, is manufacturing, hardcore manufacturing, growing in our marketplace?
I don't really see it.
That's why I ask.
I don't really see.
I hear it, but I don't really know.
I don't see it. Maybe we're not buying the right buildings for that. I don't know, but I don't really see it. Okay. I was in the manufacturing world for a long time, and there's always stuff to do in it, but like, I don't know. But at some point, people just make a mold and send it to China and stamp out parts. If it gets to any volume, you lose it, so.
As the nearshoring, the 15 to 16,000 trucks a month coming through Laredo, are you seeing that affect the product that you play in?
I did. So we have seen some people come up. Well, it's funny. We're buying a building right now from a company out of FAR, and they're like, hey, we need to sell this site. It's more of an iOS site for their trucking company. They're like, we need to go buy 100,000 of a building, But that's more for like a third-party logistics type situation. So that's coming from the manufacturer, is coming out of Mexico, getting filtered in through FAR, and then coming up for distribution out of here. So I don't know if it's going to be manufacturing space, because it sounds like the manufacturing is going to go to Mexico.
Right.
But the warehousing will continue.
But it's going to travel up through here, El Paso.
It's going up through here, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if you feel that in y'all's size product.
No, not really, because we have so much small bay. I would love to eventually get into the larger distribution type centers, but I don't develop, and
some of your people are the service providers to the industry.
Yes, they're the service providers. We're starting to get in the world where we're making offers on these larger distribution centers and stuff like that. second gen and stuff like that.
You're midstream.
Yeah. And so, but until then, I'm not, I don't know. I just don't have the skins on the wall to develop it and do that.
Was it Bernie that you took down an asset?
Buda.
Was there something else in Central Texas other than Buda?
Marble Falls.
Yeah, Marble Falls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was that project again?
It was 28,000 feet, a small bay.
Yeah.
7 tenants.
I mean, Marble Falls, that's kind of like, having an airstrip on your industrial portfolio, right?
Yeah, it's, right? It's
pretty classy of Matador.
Yeah, it's a cool little area. It's, but there was, we bought that. There was 0 vacancy in Marble Falls. It's kind of like the Northwest Austin submarket or whatever, but it's kind of a little out there a bit, but it's an awesome little area. And there's so many homes being built out there.
Nice homes.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah. And, we're going through the process where everyone hates me right now because we're making them pay a little below market.
Yeah. From a Dallas address.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm the real bad guy down there, but we're backfilling spaces at higher rates, and
Austin doesn't want to see a Dallas address, and Fort Worth doesn't want to see a Dallas address.
It doesn't.
And we're happy seeing either one of those. We just don't want to see a Houston address.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's so we're going through that process with those tenants right now, but there's always that part of the business of we got to raise your rent. You're literally paying nothing, and
yeah.
So sorry to be the bad guy,
but it's not like you're being predatory. You're just going market.
No, you know what I actually did is I went 25.
That person's a capitalist as well.
So to my point with them is, I'm not asking you to sell your product below market. I don't know why you should ask me to do mine, but I do think I do.
That goes deep.
And so I even was giving them, was like, hey, the first year I'll give you 25% off market just so you can kind of acclimate to this, and that was still, you're the devil. I'm like, okay, well then leave and I'll get market now. Like this. But I think tenants,
there's empathy with your plan. You can be happy to say that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
But I think tenants like to, they look at, you have when you're the landlord, you have the term Lord in your name. And I think they want you to absolve them of all their business sin.
Oh man. Well, sounds like it based on that other deal you're looking at right now.
Yeah, that's
gosh.
And they don't look at you like you're just operating another business. They're like, well, look, you own the real estate. So like you're this whole other thing. Okay. Yeah, maybe I buy assets that appreciate, but like at the end of the day, we're running a business. We got people here that got to collect the rent. We got a mortgage we have to pay. My bank doesn't.
Yeah. You didn't fly your helicopter to Marble Falls.
No. And, yeah, no, we're running a business also, you know. But how would you like to sell me your products, for 40 cents on the dollar?
Doesn't work out very well. And they got to benefit from it for a while.
They get zero credit to that. But like, your rent's been like under market for so long. Like, and
have y'all ever sold one of your assets to one of your tenants?
Yep.
Yeah.
We've sold.
And that was a success, obviously, or
obviously
y'all wouldn't have.
Yeah, we sold one to Goodnight. We sold it to. We haven't sold another one. We're fixing to sell the Caterpillar deal in January.
Got it.
So,
Got it. Who's running that cat? Is it who's the tenant?
It's the Caterpillar dealer.
All right, got it.
So,
so it's a certain dealer of cats.
Yeah.
Right?
So this area is the Holt cat family.
Yeah.
This is the Warren cat family that runs from like Midland, Lubbock up to Oklahoma City.
Got it.
Area.
Got it.
So they lease the property from us. And
how often are you in Oklahoma?
Probably once a quarter.
Okay.
Will goes up there a little more frequently. He was up there last week. He probably toured 15 buildings up there last week. So.
And from where you live, though, it's not really too far.
No, it's a 3-hour drive.
Right.
It's not bad at all. Any of our markets we can really be to by the afternoon if we left in the morning. So, hence that's why we're maybe looking into the Sprinter van.
Yeah, there you go. There might be a new Matador private equity entity all of a sudden.
Yeah, just rolling down the street.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's kind of strategic where we can just be there quickly, and that's why we still self-manage those assets. We don't hire a third party out there. You know, I mean, if we got to send a property, we just send a property manager out there and we take care of it, and so
that's where I am. If I can't drive to it and get to it, that's where I'm with vacation homes, anything, So, and you talk about social media and it's not being utilized maybe so much or whatever. And I know you've made some attempts to get product out there with some people. It's hard to get some full participation, right? It's just, it's weird. You're either comfortable with it or you're not,
right.
And you and I both work with generations in front of us and behind us. I've realized how many generations there are below me all of a sudden. So
right.
I actually just brought on a new partner in Frisco, Danny Helms, and it feels good to know him fulfilling a different part of the demographic, but still have the wisdom that, you're happy to partner with.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, yeah, you're right up the street now from us.
On Gaylord, where I think it's the original building
of Hall Park.
Mm-hmm. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
It's that first one you come in on the left. And so you don't have to drive all the way back into this big office park. So you can just get in there, a bunch of parking. We're second floor and we're done. So
that's awesome.
They're excited about finishing it out. I know that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, kind of like on the real estate side of things, you're kind of a barometer in a way. I would think title would be a barometer because you can kind of see all the incoming.
I do, but that also means I have to pay attention to every deal that's coming through and what it is.
Yeah.
And I tell people straight up, if I don't know about your deal, that's the biggest positive in your life.
Yeah.
Because if I know about your deal.
Yeah. If I'm hearing about it, there's something wrong with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, usually. I mean, I'd like to say that we're high-fiving on every single closing or whatever and breaking down what went on. And that's not happening, right? Because we got to go on to the next one, right? There's volume that comes through the shop. Thank God.
Yeah.
And so I'm a barometer because I can see who I'm doing business with.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't have a detail of, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of 50,000 square foot industrial selling. Or, I know the difference between my retail center guys and my single tenant, pad site guys on retail and stuff. So I have some barometer.
Yeah.
And so I can see an uptick in activity.
Yeah.
I can tell you that land's moving, right? Yeah. People are going to be real down on land, and I still think there's going to be opportunity for some land depending on who bought it when.
Right.
But we've seen some land get gobbled up. We are seeing some retail movement. Retail's got I think it's a 3% vacancy right now in DFW, something crazy like that.
Yeah, we're actually funding some pref on a couple of retail deals right now, and if it's something that you can see history that looks stable, I don't blame you. If the operator's good and the lease is signed, I
kind of feel like the world's figured out what they are going to buy online and what services or things they're not going to buy online.
Yeah.
So it's kind of shaken out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I don't think there's the wave is kind of crashed on that, and it's kind of...
There's going to be small waves rolling in, but hopefully no tsunami on that, but whatever. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. God, who knows? We've seen some ranch deals are moving.
Yeah.
That's for sure, again. And then industrial is every time, so I've been doing it since 2003. So this is my 20th year in the business. And thank God Robert and Jay bought my business plan.
Yeah.
I've always been better at talking than writing.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And so I've seen some cycles.
Yeah.
Right. And we always do well during the downtimes, but that was before when there was any kind of slowdown, they were reducing interest rates, right?
Yeah.
So it spurred activity and spurred refinances, right? I say that we refied through the 08 recession.
Yeah. But that wasn't the case here recently. So.
No. And actually there's refis are starting to come through on resi because these rates have dropped.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising to me that people are already jumping on a refinance.
Yeah. Just like it's going to come down a little more. So.
Yeah. But I mean, if that also might show you how much pressure people are feeling that they can't wait. You know, if they can save $200 right now, they got to jump on it. Maybe they're going to have to refi again and go save another $400 later. Because I couldn't imagine putting those deals together on a personal front and chewing that off or whatever. You know, I honestly never would. I've slowed down on borrowing any money, you know, lines of credits, things like that. I'll lend my own cash.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just through those different cycles, we thought that we were a little recession proof based on what we saw.
Yeah.
And then when the interest rates go up and that's what creates the slowdown, you're like, okay, everybody can feel it. But I'll say this right now is in the last 2 weeks, we've opened up more commercial deals than we have in the last 2 months.
Well, we feel like activity's picked up for us too. We feel like our opportunities have picked up and all that stuff. So, and then after the Fed's announcement this week, I feel like it's really going to take us into 2024 pretty well. So
I've already heard some banks, you know, because if you're not watching what interest rate you're getting paid on any dead cash right now, I've now the mentality, I work so hard for my money. I want my money working hard for me.
Yeah.
Even if the dollar's sitting in the bank. So, you know, we monitor that pretty hard and we got to do it for our escrow accounts and stuff. So we're staying on top of that for our clients. But eventually, you know, we're already seeing these people talking about lowering those rates significantly.
It's funny. We're doing an escrow agreement today on a building we're closing. And the title company's down in Austin and they were like, it's $200,000 escrow over the course of a year. And I go, hey, I want an interest-bearing account. She's like, oh, do you really? It's a lot. It's a big pain. It's really hard to get the money out of it and all this stuff. I was like, yeah, this is kind of like real money now to be earned. Like, yes, I want an interest-bearing account. I go, she goes, well, it takes a while to get it out. I go, how long? She goes, 2 to 3 days. I go, well, that's nothing. Like, give me my interest-bearing account.
And you should get it out in a day.
Yeah.
But that person probably has been in the title business forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's had to tell some people that their interest rate, that everyone's going to fill out forms and then wait to get their money, that the rate that we're going to achieve was like 0.001%.
Mm-hmm.
So if people who are operational and don't pay attention to that, they may not understand that there's a true money to be earned.
Yeah.
So again, what someone else is speaking, they may not mean to be hurting you.
Yeah.
But they can damage you.
Yeah. That's right.
Know?
That's right.
But yeah, because otherwise, that title company, if it sits in their escrow account, not earning interest, they're not earning interest on it either, right? So it's not coming from a predatory place. Like we want it in this other bucket.
Yeah.
They just don't know how important it is.
Yeah.
So, but you also got to push on those banks, especially for those escrow accounts, because everything's treasury heavy. And if you're making was that $200,000 going to be held for a full year, or there be disbursements?
There'll be some disbursements throughout the year. So,
but so it used to not make sense.
Yeah.
But now you want every dollar working for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. How should we do that, you think? Because I might stay here afterwards.
Well, you can hang out all day. So. No. Well, I just appreciate you and all you do, and thanks for coming on today. And we'll have you on again at some point. But you know, it's you're an incredible resource for us. You know, a lot of the times we make this argument now when we buy a lot, we don't sell a lot. And usually when you're the seller, you can dictate the title company. But when you're the buyer, you're sometimes at the mercy of the seller. But we have made it a real point to drive home with them that, hey, look, this is the only transaction you're probably doing as seller. We're probably working on 5 or 6 right now. And it's nice to just be able to call one person.
And you live with the title policy.
Yeah, and I live with it.
I don't care if a seller's paying for title.
Yeah.
Buyer, their lender, their attorney, their lender's attorney.
Yeah.
That's who's working the most with the title company.
Yeah.
Unless the seller's got a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and so that's what sophisticated buyers end up doing.
Yeah.
They really push for their title company if they've got one that they value like that.
Yeah.
And while you're talking, not to jump on our wrap up here, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together. You know, growing up, when we were all playing video games, we were playing like Tecmo Football or John Madden.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be on the same team, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll be the fullback or the tight end and block for you.
Yeah.
So so my friends still to this day give me a hard time. Yeah, you always want to be on the same team blocking for us.
Yeah.
But maybe that was my role.
That is your role. What I mean? That is you.
So I'm putting that together. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up with blocking.
Yeah, man.
So
all right.
Well, thanks for coming on. We'll have you back. See you, bro.
All right, Mr. Mercer.